Alrighty, we're on vocabulary for Unit 2. We are on week 4 this week. Our first word here is adult. Adult is a person who is fully grown. I'm sure many of you have heard this word before. We just want to be sure that you can use it in a sentence here. Now, I put for your example, it is a good idea to ask an adult when you need help. The important thing here that you need to notice is that adult starts with an A. It starts with a vowel. So you have to use an before it. You can't say a adult. You can't use just the letter A if your next word is starting with a vowel. So you really need to pay attention to that on your test this week and make sure that you have an and if you're talking about an adult and not the word a. The next word is alive. I have a magic E on the end, so I know my I is going to say its name here. If something is alive, it is having life or it is living. Okay, these are just two definitions meaning the same thing. That's why it's got a little semicolon in here. My example says, I want to keep my flowers alive. Okay, usually if you have a plant or, anything that's living, you usually want to keep it alive. Covered is our next word, and covered means something is put over or on top of you. So this is very similar to our word buried, but covered has more to do with the stuff getting put on top of you. You could be covered in something, you could be covered by a blanket. I put for my example, he was covered in paint after we did arts and crafts. Now notice there's an ED on here, so this word happened in the past. So you have to make sure when you put it in your sentence that it's a sentence that happens in the past. I noticed this word did here. That tells me that this is something that already happened. Fur is our next word. Again, I'm sure that most of you have heard this word before. Fur is just the hair on an animal. Okay, I put for example, Oreo has soft fur that we like to pet. You might want to describe an animal's fur. You could tell what it looks like and feels like. A lot of times you want to pet an animal's fur. Giant is our next one. I have a G-I, so that's my soft G sound. It's not going to say G, it's going to say J because it's next to an I. Giant. If something is giant, it is very large. I put for my example, this dog is giant, and he is huge. I have an exclamation point at the end there because, I'm very excited at how big he is. You could be describing animals, people, items, anything that is very, very big. Our next word is groom. These two O's in the middle, instead of having our two vowels go a walking rule, the two O's a lot of times are going to say ooh. So this says groom. To groom something is to make it clean and neat. So you can see here this monkey, he is going through his friend's fur, making sure there's nothing in there, cleaning out any bugs for him. And that's our example. It says monkeys like to groom each other to keep their friends clean. And that is, very true. That actually happens out in the wild. They like to make sure they keep their fur nice and clean. A mammal is just a type of animal with fur that gives milk. And you might not have known this, but a giraffe is a mammal because it has fur and it gives milk to its babies. But I just kind of picked this picture because it was silly. Now, offspring, that is just another word for an animal's baby. Okay, the young of an animal. Okay. It could be you could even call a child, you could call it the offspring of their parents. But a lot of times, we're talking about animals here. I put penguins take good care of their offspring. Okay, that is just their child. A lot of times you want to take care of it. You want to keep your young healthy and safe. Okay, so now that you have done all your words here, you've learned them all, you are more than welcome to make your own vocabulary slide with these words and to put your own pictures and create your own sentences. In order to get a dojo point from Miss French, just go up to her and you need to use one of these words in a sentence and try and do a difficult one. Try and do one that you're not so sure of. So if you're not positive of how to use it in a sentence, I'll definitely be able to help you and get you a dojo point for that.